publisher is the. It just said we're live now. Were we not live before?
I think so. Yeah, I think we're live.
It only
Pretty good.
says 6 seconds now. That's so weird.
That's weird. Huh.
It might have
All
cut
right.
off
Well,
the whole front.
it might have. It might have cut off. Hold on a second. Let's take it back from the top. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You need a dose of this.
Damn rookies. Anyway, here we are live with Mr. Phillip Russertt. Thank you for joining me today. Let's take it from the top. I know we were talking about, we're going to be talking today about distribution. And before this whole thing started, I did want to break down the difference between the distribution that you're doing and the publishing that you're doing, because it's two very different things. And I know that you're getting a lot of, people are coming onto the website trying to sign on as publishers when that's just for the distribution channel. So talk a little bit about the difference between the two things.
So publishers, examples of publishers would be Marvel, DC, IDW, Image, Dark Horse, Devil's Due, SourcePoint Press, etc. And there are different publisher models. Basically, they're putting your books out there for you. Like either they own their own IPs and they put their own books out, they print their own books, they create their own books, they put them out there. Or they have a model where they allow you to keep creator ownership of your IPs, but they take a royalty, a percentage, and even a fee to publish your book. Mm-hmm. For example, like, you take Rob Liefeld with Extreme Studios. Now, he owned Image, of course, but, he was part owner. But Image is the publishing company. He's the creator. He gets to keep the rights to his own creations. Where if you work for Marvel, you create a character, Marvel and DC own it. So they're different models, but the publisher is basically the one that's taking their imprint, putting it on the book to help market it out there. They cover print costs, etc. They do marketing, and they sell it as part of their product line. Mm-hmm. Distribution, think of it as a central hub. Comic store retailers, it's hard for them if they were dealing with individual publishers. Imagine how crazy your accounting would be and things like that, where you've got 1,000 different people that you've got to order from. It's just impossible to keep track of. Something's going to slip through the cracks. So the model of distribution is this one hub where all the publishers can come to in this one place, so that it's easier on the retailers to look at that one place and say, oh, okay, I like this publisher. I want this book. I want this book. I want this book, etc. And the distributor is going to not only take those orders on behalf of the publishers, they are going to ship those orders out on behalf of the publishers across the country to whatever store network that they have.
Yeah. So what made you go into the distribution game, man? What happened?
Do you want the answer I give you behind scenes, which is the same answer, just a little raunchier, or?
Give me the answer. You know what? I don't know. Okay, let's try that. Give me the raunchy answer.
All right. I am sick and tired of gatekeeping. And I know there are people that say there isn't, but there is. There's gatekeeping, whether it's the algorithm on Kickstarter or Facebook keeping the little guy down and building the big guy up, or Diamond, who was telling you they didn't think your book was sellable, so they wouldn't take it on. I'm an Irishman. We fight and we drink, and I don't drink. And I don't like being told that I can't get in the ring. I'm okay with doing my best, and if I get my ass knocked out, so be it. That was the way it is. But don't tell me I don't have a right to get in the ring and fight. I'm not going to watch. I want to be in there. Right. So I went to Diamond almost 2 years ago now with Tragedy. And, Tragedy has a lot of well-known Marvel, DC people working on it. It's a beautiful-looking book. Ricardo's doing a great job. I mean, it's a solid book. The writing's been reviewed really well. And they gave me a weird answer why they're rejecting it, which didn't sit with me. They said he had to be 2 years ahead of schedule. And I'm like, no, you don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
A few big names went to bat for me and told Diamond, "What are you doing? You got to pick up this book. It's good. This guy's good." Blah blah blah, and it went unnoticed. And that's when I started to hear rumblings that they were going under, things like that. So I don't like my destiny being the hands of somebody else, because then whatever happens to me, my fate is on their decision, and I'm not accepting of that. I'm okay with my decisions. If they fail, I'm the one who deals with the failure. I got to pick myself up. But if you fail me, now it's on you, and I don't know if I gave it my best shot, right? Because I don't know if I really got a fair shake. So I said, screw it. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to get my own books out there. And then I was, doing research and learning things. I realized most stores probably won't want to just buy my book by itself, and you should do distribution. And my brother said to me, he goes, well, then why don't you just do it yourself and do distribution? Pull on just like 2 or 3 guys. I go, yeah, but if I'm going to do that, why don't I pull on more people? Get because people that are in my position that are struggling and hungry like me, that just want a fair shot too. Why do it just for me when I could do something that could benefit myself and everybody?
Yeah.
I don't profess to be the absolute solution or the savior by any means. I don't have that kind of arrogance, but I certainly don't want to be part of the problem, and I want to try to work towards being part of the solution. And Diamond's going down. We don't know what Universal is going to do. Now, I've heard rumblings that Universal just wanted the infrastructure. They don't see any money in comics. They like their toys and their media. People are telling me otherwise, but let me ask you this. Why has no retailer gotten a single email from Universal soothing them and keeping them calm, saying, you know what, don't worry, we're going to take care of this?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's heard from them. Diamond went to bankruptcy. People lost books. They lost money before May 16th, and anything after is right now in the hands of Universal, and nobody knows what's going on with their product. Well, they can't afford to lose this product. So I looked at the current model in the industry, and there's some old heads that are really stuck in their ways, and I get it. But the industry, in my opinion, is suffering from several things: grifting middlemen, gatekeeping, and no one wanting to take a risk. And I don't like any of those 3.
Yeah.
So I came in with low percentages to help creators because I'm not a grifter middleman. I'm not gatekeeping books coming in. I have minor criteria that make total sense. And, because I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I believe in the free market deciding, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you that because I think one of the main questions that, obviously when you go through Diamond, they have a minimum that you have to you have to sell in order for you to stay with them or whatever.
Right.
So as far as your model, do you have minimums?
No, I mean, Diamond needs to have minimums, of course, because they have a lot of overhead. They have warehouses and trucking and staff. So I get that. I don't knock them for that. I'm a new distributor, and, I'm working on relationships with stores. Now, we have just about a little over 300 stores signed up, but there's a lot of work to do, and that doesn't guarantee what they order. So I don't feel it's right for me to put a minimum on you guys when I don't even know how many stores will be on board with me. It could be, does it end at 400, 500? Is it 2,000? I don't know, so, and plus I understand that being new, we're not Marvel and DC. We have to give people a chance for growth. And if I force a minimum on people, that just hurts everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. So there are no minimums, which is great. Now, as far as what you're picking up, I know you don't want to do the gatekeeping thing, and I understand that, but there's got to be some, like, in other words, can I have one issue of a book and you're going to pick it up? Can I have, like, what are some of the criteria for picking up the book?
So the criteria that I have are simple. It must be a professionally produced book. The logo can't look like your kid drew it in crayon and you just did it. It can't look like it was printed at Kinko's. It has to be a professional level book. I'm not here to judge art or content, but I will judge production value. So that's the first thing. because it has to look right. It's representing my company as well. The second thing is you have to have UPC codes. And if you're doing NSFW, which yes, everybody knows I'm not a fan of that stuff, but I am a fan of free market. Just if you're gonna have nude covers, nude variants, you have to black bag them. And that is the extent of my gatekeeping, if you want to call it. But that's a business decision for several reasons. One, children walk into comic stores, and I don't, as a father of 2 young girls, I'd be pissed if I walked in there and my 8-year-old saw that stuff. Yeah. Secondly, my goal is to bring readership back to stores. And that means I want families in there. I want books like The Adventures of Wonder Duck, because that's a family-friendly book. And if you see Adventures of Wonder Duck sitting next to Ass-tastic and a naked cover, and that kid was going to reach the duck, Adventures of Wonder Duck, and right next to it you see a naked woman spread eagle, I don't think that's appropriate. And yes, I am not going to do that. So just black bag it, period.
Right.
And the final criteria is you must be ahead of schedule, whether it's a mini series or ongoing, because you have to meet a monthly schedule. And it's not realistic to think that you could put out issue 1 on Kickstarter and then you're going to have issue 2 next month. It's not. You have to have the financial means to do the print run every month based on whatever the orders are. And you have to have a book ready for print so that you could be timely with it. Because that's the thing about distribution. You're now on a monthly deadline. You're on a strict timeline. And I will not accept late books because it makes me look bad as a distributor, because I'll get the blame.
Well, sure. Yeah. And I think that's always been the stigma with indie comics, right? It's like, okay, you have the first issue, will you have the second issue, will you have the third? And this is why some stores have a hard time kind of like, putting them in stores. I know that we've walked into a few stores, and I think that the fact that both of us have for Wonder Duck, I have all 8 issues. You're well ahead on Tragedy, and so that's a selling point to some of these stores. They like that.
Agreed.
They like that. Yeah. So
Agreed.
It's very important.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're there to sell books. They're not there to not sell books. And if books don't arrive or show up, that hurts the business. That hurts their business model. It's a chain reaction. And it all starts with the publisher, right? So absolutely. And that's my criteria. It's a very transparent, very simple thing with me. Like, people muddy things up. They make them more complicated than they need to. I don't. I like to simplify things, because if I'm not forcing you to focus on nonsensical things, you can focus on producing a good book and getting the book out in time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. Now let's turn over to the stores themselves. What are some of the things that you are offering the stores to entice them to pick up these books?
Okay. So, sometimes your hands get a little tied, right? Now, I'm offering the stores 40% discount. And if they buy 10 or more of a book, it's 50% discount. And for the most part, everybody's been on board for that. I got my first reaction to that in a negative way by a store that's been in stores 48 years. But this gentleman thinks print runs are like $1 still. So I tried to explain to them, I totally understand where you're coming from. But, at 40%, you still get $1.99 a book on a $4.99 book, whereas the publisher is lucky if he walks away with 10 to 20 cents. And he told me I was lying or I was wrong. But it's true. And if you're a publisher watching this, you know damn well that it's above $3 in most places. I found a place that's much less, and it's still like $2.75. So our profit margins are nil, to negative mostly. So I was trying to structure where the stores can still make a profit and the publishers can still make something so they can keep going. That store owner's response to me was, I shouldn't be encouraging these small publishers with low runs to be out there. And that bothered me, and I'll tell you why. That principle alone is why the market is stagnant. It's why the Western market is imploding, in my opinion. You look at manga, they take risks with stories. They go crazy. I mean, we got a chainsaw. We got a guy with a face that's a chainsaw. Do you think any Western publisher would pick that up?
Yeah.
No, not in never in a million years. The fans keep saying that we're regurgitating the same stories and the same crap and nothing's new and fresh. But at the same time, people are clinging to what they know instead of trying something new. But then you look at something that's killing children, right? Something's killing children, or Ice Cream Man, or whatever. Yeah, and something fresh, a little newer. People are clamoring for it. They love it. But the problem is there are some stores that they're just playing it safe, so they survive. And I totally understand that, respect that. But growth comes with risk. Now, obviously, you want to minimize that risk, and that's how you grow. But some people don't see it because, like, I'll give you an example. Maybe you don't sell a lot of the publishers that I put out there, but what if, say, Tragedy blows up, right? And now the retail market value is $20 or $30 for the first appearance. That store still only paid the $3 on that book, and they make $30 on the market value, but the publisher still only walked away with 10 cents.
Right. Yep.
And I'm trying to be fair to both. And I think some of the stores, and I mean no disrespect, are stuck 30 years ago. The industry keeps changing, and if you don't change with it, it's going to collapse. And it's already suffering. I mean, if Diamond isn't an indication of that, I don't know what is. Marvel and DC don't even report. Diamond would stop reporting numbers because Marvel and DC didn't sell well anymore. I mean, I remember Sean Chen was on Iron Man, and that was a mid-level book. It was 900,000 copies a month.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, before they stopped counting numbers, Batman was at 134,000. That was the bread and butter of DC. And now they don't even compute numbers. Now they could say Absolute Batman did 1 million. I don't know if those numbers are accurate, but you know what? Good. We need that. We need
Right.
readership.
Yeah.
But how many of those are readers and how many of those are collectors? How much of that is 15 variant covers?
Yeah.
We the 90s did some great stuff, and it also brought in some bad ideas. Short-term goals. Foil covers and gimmicks, short-term money that, yes, it's great, I'm making the money, but that grift ends eventually because eventually you keep picking the meat off the bone. There's nothing left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That was the thing, the boom of the 90s. Like once that boom flattened out, it was over. Like it really hurt us a lot.
And what was worse, in my opinion, is in the 90s, you still had us old school readers. We weren't as old as we are now, enjoying the books, right? And in the early 2000s, the way Marvel and DC started writing their books, they alienated us older folks. And we're the ones with the money. We're the ones who 30 years dedicated to this hobby, dropped off.
Yeah.
I was a huge X-Men fan. I had 30, 40 titles a month. I don't collect anything anymore other than indie because it's not good. It's not written well. The editors don't know what they're doing. The writers are activists. It's just not good. And they alienated all of us readers. And people think, well, we recovered from the 90s. We'll recover from this. I don't know. Because in the 90s, we still had all those old school readers. We don't have them anymore. They're not coming to save this industry.
Yeah.
And we're not grabbing new readers.
No, that's the scary thing. We're not grabbing the new readers. The new readers aren't coming in to pick up books and just keep, you still have the collectors of like your Amazing Spider-Man and all that other stuff, but that's it.
Even then, it's nowhere near what it was. It's just not. And the younger generations are not coming on board like they expected them to. They thought the movies would bring them in. They thought bringing these young activist writers would bring them in. It's not. I mean, if you look at what's successful, look at X-Men 97, the cartoon.
Yeah.
People clamored and loved it of all generations. Why? They took mostly Chris Claremont's storylines from the 80s and 90s and some of Scott Lobdell's that followed up after Claremont left. And they still don't get it.
Yeah.
Both generations, older and newer, loved that cartoon based on older writing styles.
Yeah.
And they still don't get it.
Yeah, because they were, what it is? Claremont was writing characters. Yeah, right. It was a superhero book, but he was writing characters. They were going through stuff, and that's what made it so real, and that's what made it so good. Now,
not just that.
not like that.
when he wrote a character, they naturally progressed based on their core principles over time.
Right.
Like Storm got the mohawk and everything, and she became a strong leader, but she was still the Storm we knew. She just evolved a little, as naturally healthy human beings do as they get older, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these activist writers now, they just come in and they say, this is who I think this character should be. They're going to be that way. They're going to have this sexual orientation. They're going to be this color. They're going to be this arrogant. They're going to do this. And it's not that diversity is a problem. Diversity is wonderful. I mean, Giant Size X-Men was all about diversity. I love that. It's how you write it. It's about the natural progression of characters. It's about not changing characters that you've loved for 40 years and all of a sudden they're not the same person anymore. That's bad writing. And then you're writing about silly. I saw this thing. Captain Marvel the story was her complaining to Miss Marvel about guys coming into her Facebook DMs and hitting on her. Look, I'm glad that women are on board for comics, but your largest demographic is still young men or older men at this point. We don't relate to that shit. Write stuff that everybody can relate to. And you know what that is? Humanity, insecurity, fear, adversity that we're trying to overcome. That's why Rocky is timeless, because he applies to everybody of every color, every gender. That's it. It's timeless.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was watching Rocky 2 the other day, bro. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Rocky 2 is so good, dude. All the Rockies, they're freaking
when Adrian
great.
says win, I just
win. Right. When she comes out of the coma and she goes, I'll do anything. What you want me to do? And she's like,
come here.
Win.
Yeah, she goes, come here.
Yeah.
Come here, come close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they
write,
chill. Yeah, the way they write that is incredible. It's incredible.
But that's the point. They write to touch you emotionally, because deep down at the core, we're all the same. Mm-hmm. We all want to feel relevant. We all have fears and doubts in ourselves and the world, and we just want to conquer them and feel like we're relevant and that this life matters for something, right?
Absolutely, man, 100%. All right, let me share. Let's share the website here for those who are checking us out. This is Philbo Distribution. This is the website. So I'm, obviously I'm, distributing my book through Philbo Distribution. And what I've done is whenever right now I'm in Cali, I'll hit up a store and I'll direct them to here.
Yeah.
Because this is where they're going to be able to pick up my book. Now, I do have this on my website. So there's a link for it on my website, because I give them a card and they go to here. So, but I think that's important. And I want to mention that also, because just because you're doing this doesn't mean that our job as creators or people who are under the Philbo Distribution banner stop working.
Right.
This is when we work the most, because they still have to order the book. Now, you do have some really cool people coming on board. And I know that, there's still, like, you got Antarctic Press, you got Counterpoint Comics, Zenoscope, Fair Square. They're coming soon to the catalog. But you have guys like Committed Comics with their books here.
Crusade By the way, this is public for everybody to see, so fans can see what we're offering, and tell your comic store that you want them to order it.
Yeah. And this is She by Billy Tucci. So you have that in the catalog. Edge Comics. I mean, you have a nice
there's my boy.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. The Remnant, #1, Grok Comics. Homebrewed Comics, big shout out to them. You got Caspian Porter, Crit.
By the way, I just want everybody to know, Bigfoot Knows Karate is having a successful campaign going on right now, and I think Crit, if it didn't end yet, it's like a day left, so go support those campaigns.
Yeah, a Kid in the Comic newspaper is on here. That's awesome. Yep. Knuckle of Supper Studios.
That's a great book that nobody's paying attention to.
Really cool. That's nice. Monstrous Books, Kolchak. That's cool, man. I like that cover.
If anybody knows, Kolchak was a show in the 70s, and that was X-Files before there was an X-Files.
Oh, shoot. That's right. There's Tragedy.
And by the way, if I was really doing all this just to market my book, don't you think my book would have been up top?
Yeah, not for sure. Spiro. Well, did you do it in alphabetical order, Phil?
Yeah, it's in alphabetical order of the publishers.
Okay, cool. Animal Warriors. This is cool. I like that.
Yeah, it ties into his action figure line, which you're going to see
Oh,
as you scroll.
nice. Story arc.
This is, yeah, Raymond Gill,
That's awesome. Oh, there's the
another all
action
ages
figures.
book. And yeah, these action figures, I mean, they're
Wow.
pro level, man. They're not a joke.
Wow, these are nice.
I know. This guy's a pro. He does professional action figures.
Holy cow. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's wave one. I'm telling you, it's don't sleep on
That's it.
independent people. The only difference between some of these, granted, some independents, maybe it's not high quality. I understand that, but there are independents that the only difference is they just didn't get enough eyes on them. They just haven't caught fire yet, but they're just as quality as anything on the shelves, if not
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this looks good, man. This looks good. But again, it's about telling your stores that you're out there and that
Yeah,
you're here, so that they can go in. Now this is the Philbo cat. Like that's the homepage, and you can get a preview. The Philbo catalog, you won't be able to get in until you sign up. So for the stores that are
right.
out there, they have to sign up in order to get past this point, right? Phil, talk to them a little bit about
Correct.
that.
Yes, if you sign up, obviously it's free. Nobody's charging you for that. If you sign up the account, there's no obligation to buy anything off the catalog, but you just get access to the retailer, the catalog, to see what the retail discounts are, what the prices are, etc., and access to the tier pricing. We can't leave it open to the public because then the public will be getting it at a retailer value, and the whole point is the retailers have to have a markup.
Right. No, that makes sense. Now you
What
also
I what
have
I what I tell everybody real quick is if you're a store and you're watching this and you're like, well, they're indie, how much are they going to sell? This is all I'm going to tell you. It costs you nothing to sign up and follow along because you don't know if one of these books will blow up. What if, Tragedy or Adventures of Wonder Duck or something really becomes successful? Well, then you have the account to go ahead and order before it goes into second printing, and not lose out. There's no risk to just sign up, and you can keep your eyes on it. And if you don't see anything that you think will make you money now, give it time.
yeah.
And we'll be onboarding other people as we go. I just spoke to another respectable publisher today that may be on board, so you don't know.
Yeah. Now this is the what you fill out
For a retailer, yes,
for
this is a
retailers.
submission form for retailers, because I have to vet and make sure you're a retailer, you're an actual retailer, and you get approved, and you sign up, you create your password, sign up your account.
Yeah, this is your tax ID and your resale certificate,
Hmm.
and then you're good to go. Once you sign up, you're good to go. You can start ordering
Yeah,
whatever
and
you
you
want
don't
to
have to
order.
be a brick and mortar. I have plenty of online retailers that don't own brick and mortar stores that had diamond accounts that can sign up. It's not just brick and mortar. If you sell comic books for a living, you have your resale certificate number, you have your EIN, and you're legit, then you're in.
Yeah, this looks good, man. Now this is your submission guidelines for the new publishers. So you added this to the website as well.
Yes. So it's very similar to what Diamond would ask for because, basically what we talked about that you have to, I like to see the book, the quality of the book. I like to see that you're ahead of schedule, are you going to be marketing? Because like you said earlier, I'm doing more than the other distributors as far as marketing you. I'm doing a lot more, but I'm not the end all be all. At the end of the day, it's your book. You got to sell it.
Yeah.
So, do you have a marketing plan? Do you have the budget for things? Are you ahead of schedule? Is your book professional? Just basically stuff like that. Just follow the guidelines. It tells you the website to send the package to, and I promise you, I will give it my full attention pretty quickly. I Don't get me wrong. I'm working 21 hours a day, but I don't like to hold people up. I don't like it when it's done to me. I'm not going to do it to you. I will look at your submission promptly. It's not going to take 6 months. I'm not having that. I mean, I've had hundreds come in, but I haven't had thousands. So, give me a week or so, and I can get back to you.
Right, right. And this I think this is important. The marketing your product. Philbo Distribution is not a marketing firm. We assist in marketing as a courtesy service, but by no means are we obligated to market your product outside the Philbo catalog. So that's very important for people to understand that, you're not going to be marketing their book. That's something that they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you were in Diamond right now or Lunar, you got to hustle your ass off. I mean, even if
Oh
Image
yeah.
was your imprint, you got to hustle. You got to let everybody know it's there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And no one's going to care about your book more than you.
Yeah. 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 Now, this is a good question here. Can I set a minimum of my own product? No, all accepted products must be fulfilled as ordered. So explain that a little bit, Phil.
So some people are like, well, I have stock already, right? And I don't want to have to print more.
Mm,
So can I just say I only have 50 available? And I'm like, no, because what if 500 stores want to buy something? I can't limit them like that. You
mm.
know, you've got to be prepared to fulfill whatever the orders are. If it's 800, if it's 5,000, if it's 1,000, if it's 100, you have to be able and be ready to fulfill the orders without restrictions.
I got you. Now, how formal should my submission be? Stick to the required items. Please submit as PDF, no link. So
And
you
these
want
are actual
PDFs?
questions I've gotten, just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, I got you. So yeah, so you want PDF files. You don't want a link to like say a Dropbox or something.
No, and everybody understands. I don't know where that link is coming from or where it's taking me to, and I can't have my whole system corrupted because someone sent me a corrupt file. You may not even send it intentionally corrupt, so it must be a PDF, um, so that I can click it safely and just look at the production value of the book. That's all I'm looking at. It doesn't have to be content I like. It just has to be professional looking and presentable. That's it.
That's it. That's awesome, man. Let's see what else we got. Now, I did want to talk to you about the release date for all of this. When is it happening?
The catalog is going to launch and release July 1st to all the stores. Um, the order window is 60 days, just like other distributors. So September 1st is the final order cutoff, which is where if you haven't ordered it by then, you missed out. Okay, I mean we could do reorders later, but you're not going to get the books by October 15th, where the first delivery will be.
Gotcha. So the final cutoff is September, and then
Yeah,
it gives us a month to print these things out.
right. And now keep in mind though, like issue 2 is going to release a month later, which is August 1st, with its 60 days out. So that means its FOC will be October 1st.
Right, right. I got you. I got you. So these books, the books that are on the catalog right now, they are going to hit stores October 15th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone watching, if you did see anything on that website that you're like, oh, I'd like my store to, carry this, go to your store and tell them, hey, listen, check out Philbo Distribution. They got some stuff that I want that I'd like for you to order. And I think that's big. I think having the customer go to their own shop and telling them that they want that is big because they know that that's a sale.
Absolutely. It's going to a pull list. They know that they're going to make that money, that it's not a risk.
Mhm.
It's not a gamble at all. They know that they're going to sell it and they'll probably buy 2 extra copies if enough people ask for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable thing. The 2 most valuable things to help us right now are this. If other retailers who have signed up and they're on board are in retailer groups and meetings, and they all usually are, tell the other retailers to sign up, please. And if you're a fan of comics and you want fresh, you want new, you support indie, you have to tell your stores to order it. And just remember, a lot of the books that you love to collect on Kickstarter, you're not waiting 3 months, 4 months anymore. You're going to get them every month.
Right. Right.
So go tell them, please tell everybody, tell them to take this seriously because I'm not joking.
Now, there was one more thing that I think we should mention, and that is we are not going to be competing with the stores,
No,
right? So explain that a little bit. What do we mean by not competing with the stores?
none of these books are going to be Kickstartering campaigns while they're trying to ship to stores and trying to get these books in stores because that's direct competition. The people who are exclusive with me aren't going to be selling the same book. Well, long story short, we're going to have retailer covers for you guys to Philbo. So if someone like Zenoscope is still selling the books on their website, or if they're distributing in multiple distributors, it'll be unique to Philbo at least, so that there's no direct competition. Like if you like a cover, you can come here and get it, etc. But we're not looking to compete with stores by selling our stuff against you. Like Lunar's doing that right now. Lunar is a retailer. They're selling DC books and Image and stuff. So I always ask myself, what is Lunar's investment in comic stores? Because isn't that a conflict of interest? Like if the stores close, that just means more sales go to Lunar. So do they
Right.
give a shit about you? I don't know. I'm not accusing them of not. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying it's a legitimate question as a conflict of interest.
Right. 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 Yeah, because even for like my book, for example, I have a retail cover and I have a convention cover that I
Right.
can sell at conventions. So that way I'm not competing with the store when it comes to that book being in the stores. Because I understand that obviously we as indie creators, we have to be able to sell our product and not just in stores, we got to be able to make some money somewhere else.
Sure.
So the work around that is to have an alternate cover, to sell at a
Well,
show
the
versus
same
when
premise of having an exclusive Kickstarter cover, right?
right, right,
Yeah. And I mean, that just brings value as well for the collectors when you
right.
have, a variant cover that maybe only had a print run of whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's important because then that way the store doesn't look at it like, dude, you're selling this everywhere. Like, what's the point of me ordering your book if you're just going to sell it on your website or you're going to sell it at a show?
Right.
What's the point? So yeah, so it's very important that we keep that in mind. And yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. We alternate covers are the thing anyway, man.
At the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is build a bridge where the publishers can succeed and the stores can succeed. But if you have someone who thinks that the store should succeed and the publisher shouldn't, or vice versa, it doesn't work. We're all in this together and we all have to support each other the best we can. And like when that comic store spoke to me earlier, it was like, well, you got to account for my rent and blah blah. Actually, we don't. Find a cheaper rent. Find if get a different place. I don't know what to tell you because the publishers have to worry about their overhead as well. And no publisher, no product, nothing for you to sell in a store. The store falls. On the other end, if the store suffers and it closes, there's nowhere for the publisher to send. We need each other. It's like the artist-writer argument, right?
Yeah,
Which is more important? There is no more important. There is we're both important, and we need each other badly.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we have to respect that relationship, and we have to take care of each other, right? Not even take care of, but just understand what we can do for each other and how far we can extend ourselves because we can only go so far. Like I'm taking a low percentage to help creators go, but I can't go lower or I can't do this,
Right, right. Yeah,
So
yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Did you have anything else you want to talk about, Phil, before we wrap it up?
if you don't mind, real quick, just so everybody knows, my Facebook page has been suspended for reasons unknown. And I have not blocked you. I have not cut you off, and I have not died. I'm hoping to get back on tonight. They're looking at the appeal. I haven't done anything wrong, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if somebody reported me or if maybe a word or something flagged them. I have no idea. I just know that I hope to be on soon. We released a press release for Philbo Distribution yesterday to Bleeding Cool and Comics Beat. Which has really garnered a lot of attention from a lot of
That's
people.
awesome.
And I'm grateful to both of those media outlets, Heidi McDonald with Comics Beat and Richard Johnston from Bleeding Cool. Thank you for taking a little guy like me and putting me out there. I appreciate you. I have a Kickstarter that was supposed to launch tonight right after this, but because of the Facebook situation, I think I'm going to move it to Thursday. It is called Vanilla Land. It is a manga done by Andrew Henry from Egypt that I
Right.
publish through Philbo Publishing. And it's a fun manga tale fantasy world. But just like most manga, it goes a little bizarre, which is good. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. So if you're a manga fan or you want something just new, please go check it out and support. You could sign up and support the campaign. And finally, um, next Tuesday, I am launching my book that I wrote and created, Shaman, which George will be lettering.
Yeah.
Shaman is, I've been told that Papa and Shaman are my best writing to date. and I appreciate that. And Shaman is the tale of a young man who's the son of an Alabama Baptist minister that has extraordinary telepathic and telekinetic abilities, and he uses them to heal people in different ways. For example, like if you're a smoker, he pulls the nicotine out through your pores and he telepathically changes your mind from being a codependent person. Okay. A large pharmaceutical company is losing a huge amount of profits in the state of Alabama, and they find out why. And they do under the table deals with the drug cartels in Mexico because of opioids and fentanyl and all this stuff. So they tell them, look, we can't get involved in this, but can you take care of the problem? So the Mexican cartel is going to try to kill this kid, and he gets on the run. And he may be a powerful telepath and telekinetic, but he's a scared kid who's never used his powers against trained killers. And Ruli Akbar is the artist, and he's doing a wonderful job on the art. And Fabio da Silva Bandris is the colorist. He's doing an amazing job. And of course, my man George is, as always, doing a wonderful job on letters.
Thanks, man.
The book is done. Just waiting on George for letters.
Yep.
And it is ready. It'll be ready to go before this campaign even starts. So June 10th, next Tuesday, please sign up. It's good. You're going to like it. I really feel you'll like it. Give it a shot.
Yeah. Is it an ongoing series, Phil?
No, it's a 5-issue series. It was originally going to be a graphic novel like Papa, but because of expenses right now, especially everything going to distribution, I'm releasing chapter at a time.
All right. That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, man. No, it's a good book, man. It's a good book. So check it out. Make sure you sign up to it. I'll have the links in the
Thank you.
in the show notes as well. But yeah, Phil, this has been fun, man. Thank you so much for coming on, chatting it up about the Philbo Distribution channel that you have going. And for those who maybe missed it, check it out on the replay. And if you have any questions, reach out. Go to philbodistribution.com. And yeah, get it going, man. Get it going. Tell your stores all about it.
I just want to say one last thing. We love this medium. We love comics. But if we don't start supporting indie, if we don't start supporting stores, if we don't start supporting fresh new ideas, we're not going to have comics. Take a chance on a $5 book that may just be that new thing you're excited to go get every month. At some point, we never heard of the X-Men or the Avengers, and we bought that first book and we fell in love. That could be the Adventures of Underduck. It could be Tragedy or Night or Crit or Bigfoot Knows Karate. The point is, that's the excitement and the fun of it. It's not a negative thing to say, oh, I don't know this thing. That's exciting. You're exploring new ideas, new stories, and you're jumping on board at the beginning.
Yep.
You're coming for the ride. And hindsight's a bitch. If we knew what some of these books were going to be when we had the chance to buy them, Yeah.
And this is your chance to get on the ground floor. Get on issue 1. You know what I mean? Like people always come back, man, how am I going to get, they're 100 issues in. Well, this is your chance to get into issue 1. So yeah, man. Well, thank you very much, Phil. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you next week on Catch the Craze. Peace.